Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games, yo. And today I'm coming at you guys with an update on my Danger Dark World Brainwashing build. I took it to my locals and I got 3rd place. Basically, 3 people went undefeated, and it's weird how they did it, but I was one of the unfortunate ones that didn't get 1st place. Like, literally, only one of the 3 of us is going to get 1st, and I guess it was based on your matchups. Like who left and who you lost to and etc. I mean, who the people you played lost to, etc., etc. But yeah, we didn't take any L's. It's only 4 rounds and it's just the locals, so it's nothing like too spectacular. But I did want to showcase the list, and I also wanted to get more practice with it because I haven't really been able to play against other decks except for what my teammates play, and I just really wanted to play against meta decks. And I ended up playing against a Thunder Dragon, Danger, like. It had like Melody and what's his name? Diabolos, and I played against a Dark Warrior Phantom Knight hero deck. Basically Dark Warrior, but it had heroes in it. And then I played against Prank Kids, and I played against a Blue Eyes Chaos Max. That was the easiest round, was the Blue Eyes Chaos Max. I didn't realize how easy it was to out Chaos Max when like you have Trigate and Binary Sorceress. Like that's pretty nuts. But yeah, I ended up like getting like a huge surplus and a boost, and I ended up like that was the easiest matchup. But yeah, those are the 4 decks that I played against. I had a lot of fun, and I got to hand loop people. I got to literally like for the Thunder Dragon player when I opened up really good. Like Brainwashing just kept like forcing his Thunder Dragon effects to become something that helps me. And I brainwashed him 3 times, and he had no more plays after that, which was really nice, you guys. Like, brainwashing is a powerful card. It really is. And the other decks where I knew that brainwashing wouldn't be good against, I would just Gumblar them. But fortunately for me, the 4 decks I played were actually all combo decks. Like, Prank Kid's a combo deck. The Dark Warriors, Blue Eyes Chaos Max, and Thunder Dragons are all combo decks. So brainwashing is good against them. But normally, when I run into a deck that brainwashing is not good against, I try to focus more on Gumblar and Trigate. But anyways, I'm going to showcase my list. That's enough talking. So we're going to start off with 2 copies of Grapha. Now, Grapha is a really strong card in this deck, and he solves a lot of the problems that I have playing Dangers. Is if you don't start going into your plus cards very quickly, you start running low on cards in hand, and the lower amount of cards in your hand, the more prone your opponent is to hit the danger that you just revealed, and that's not good for you because you're already low on resources, and then you just went -1 for no reason, unless it was a good danger effect, or also you have to factor in sometimes you use the same one that turn. So Grapha really helps to solve that problem. He alleviates that for the simple fact that every time you're discarding silver and gold, you bounce them back to your hand in Special Summon Grapha. So when you have Grapha in Graveyard, I'll explain to you, you can reveal a Nessie, prime example, and discard a Silva to Special Nessie, then you draw one, then you bounce Silva back to your hand to Special Grapha. So what you just did was you +1 because you drew a card for free. Nessie already replaced itself. Silva gets to replace itself as well, which is really nice. So like you just get a free draw. It's really nice. Grapha helps you to out problem boards as well. Like you can play on your opponent's turn with Brainwashing and with Danger Zone, which is really good. Danger Zone is another way that you could trigger this to snipe cards in your opponent's field. But what's the most important thing about the Dark World effects is not only that they're not once per turn, is that they have other effects that trigger when they're discarded by an opponent's card effect. And I'm trying to capitalize on each one of those effects. That's why I use Brainwashing in my list. Guru is a good card too. You can use Guru, the level 1 Ceruli Dark World monster, but I'm just using Brainwashing because I want the best effects of the Dark Worlds, but I want it to be on my opponent's turn when they're less expected and they're like way more, like, I guess you could say, impactful. Grapha's not the most pivotal, but he really does like help you to fix a lot of the problems. Me personally, the most pivotal Dark World for me is actually the Silvas. That's why I play 3 of them. So Silva's ability, oh yeah, and if you guys didn't know the second ability of Grapha, by the way, if you discard, they get discarded by an opponent's card effect, you get both the effects, their original effect whenever they're discarded by a card effect, and then you get their other effect at the same time. It's all one effect. But he gets to look at one random card in your opponent's hand. If it's a monster, you special it to your field. Nothing's once per turn. Silva is my favorite one. This one really helps when you open up going first. What he does is he forces your opponent to take 2 cards from their hand and put it on the bottom of their deck. That's better than Gumblar because some effects are good engraved. Like Thunder Dragon Fusion was a prime example when I Gumblar'd, and The one Thunder Dragon Fusion like just got hot brought back roar went into dark searched something else. Like it was just this snowballing of plethora of effects that happened because Thunder Dragon Fusion was in the grave. And then you have like Burning Abyss, you have Dangers running around, you have Phantom Knights. Whenever those get discarded, they get pluses. So not every deck's gonna lose to Gumblar, but one thing that will not happen is no monsters effects will be able to resolve if they're being shuffled from your hand to the deck. Effects can't activate in the deck. So Silva absolutely nullifies any of those issues that you would run into. Also, he's not once a return and he's mandatory, which is really cool. A lot of the effects are mandatory, meaning because Gumblar is mandatory, you can still put Gumblar as the highest chain if you really want something else to resolve, which is really nice, just food for thought. But anyways, 3 Silvas. Next up, let's move these up actually. Next up, we have 3 copies of Gold. Gold is really one of the most interactive as well. I prefer Silva over Gold, but what Gold does, he's pretty good against every deck. He can target up to 2 cards on the field, and he can destroy them. And these are only, 2 cards your opponent controls, and he can only get this effect if he's discarded by an opponent's card effect. The base effect of Silva and Gold are they get special summon if they're discarded, not when, if. Their if effects don't miss timing. So they're always going to be free summons whenever discarded off of Dangers. I love playing 3 of them because these are the most important Dark Worlds for me to see. They help me get the free bodies on field I need because in order for Dark World Brainwashing to resolve, you have to bounce a Dark World monster for costs, which is really important to keep in mind. So yeah, 3 Silva, 3 Gold. Just being able to nuke your opponent's board after you've negated one of their monster effects, and all of it being done for practically free is like so detrimental for your opponent. It doesn't matter what deck they're playing. Being able to pop their cards is really, really helpful. 3 copies of Snow. Snow is really good. Her second effect is actually like one of the best ones. We know that she's the searcher for the archetype, and nothing's once per turn. Keep that in mind. But what she does is you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it. That is a monster reborn for whatever you want. As long as that monster doesn't have some specific summoning requirements, you can just take their monster. And I actually like that. I've actually resolved that in specific scenarios. Like, it actually made a difference. Like, prime example, in the matchup where I was playing against the hero or warrior or whatever you want to call it, I used Snow. And I brought back, because he was playing Dangers, I used Snow and I brought back his Nessie, and I revealed my own Dogman on my turn, because this was me interacting on his turn. I used my own Dogman to summon it, and that gave me a Tomahawk play. And I wasn't going to be able to make Tomahawk anyway, because I didn't have any other level 7. So, like, that's just one example of Snow putting in work, because I won because of the Tomahawk. Like, I was using Brainwashing to play on his turn, but my board wasn't able to OTK him. So I had to use the Brainwashing to make sure that I can live. And getting his Nessie back from the grave, like, made me the Tomahawks. Like, Snow put in work for that. She's broken, dude. Like, she's broke. And then we finally have 3 copies of Brow. And then I teched in 1 Beast. It's just some really good draw power that you need for the deck. And Beast is nothing extraordinary. Like, this is no surprise. Like, it's not anything new. A lot of people are playing it. It's very common that you're going to see in Danger decks, you're going to see cards like Brow and Beast because they allow you to replace the Danger. Essentially, the Danger gets replaced by a card, and the card you discarded replaces itself. So you kind of just get that free monster on field. But yeah, nothing's once per turn as far as the Dark Worlds go. And Brow, if he's discarded by an opponent's card effect, you just get to draw 2 cards instead of 1. So either way, Brow's going to give you ammunition, and yeah, like Brow's pretty nuts. But he gives you no interaction, so he's the worst to discard off of Brainwashing. Next up for the Dangers, we're playing 3 copies of Nessie. So Nessie and Mothman are my favorite Dangers because Nessie guarantees Mothman, and Mothman guarantees that I can hit what card I want versus just going RNG on it and hoping that my opponent gives me what I want, which I don't always like relying on my opponent, but that's unfortunately just how the Danger archetype works. Your opponent gets to pick the card, and if they happen to pick the wrong one, it sucks for you, but it's going to happen. But with Mothman and Nessie, even if they pick the wrong one, you're still going to be able to get the right one because Mothman allows me to discard whatever I want, and I still get the draw. So it's a Dark World dealings, and these are my favorite ones because you can miss with them, and it doesn't matter. Like certain Dangers, you have to hit because if you miss with them going first, they don't do anything, but all of these do something. Like Jackalope is still really good, allowing me to go into Tomahawk plays and rank 8 plays, link spamming, etc., etc. And then Chupacabra is another one of my actual favorites for the simple fact that the monster he reborns does not go to defense like how Jackalope specifies. Bringing back Bigfoots and Thunderbirds and Nessies, Nessie for rank 7 plays, and Bigfoots and Thunderbirds just for the damage output is like really relevant. So I actually like Chupacabra a lot. I also play 3 copies of my Schneck. Yeah, break your neck. But Snack, he's just a guaranteed summon. He's not that great, but in a sense, very similar to Chupacabra, Jackalope, Mothman, and Nessie. If you miss with him, it's not the worst. Chupacabra is probably, of all these good dangers, Chupacabra can be arguably bad in scenarios where he is the first monster you reveal, and sometimes he's the only danger monster in your hand, and he gets revealed, and then he gets discarded, and you can't capitalize off of that. But that's such a rare occasion that it wouldn't stop me from playing 3 Chupacabras because he's such a great card. So yeah, these dangers are really amazing going first. Next up, the dangers that I play for going second, because I play no hand traps, I wanted to go completely aggro and play 3 copies of Bigfoot and 3 copies of Thunderbird. I also play 3 copies of Dogman. Now, the reason why I maximize on danger Thunderbird and Bigfoot are because, like I said, I don't play hand traps. So if I'm forced to go second, I have to break boards the hard way. And I mean the hard way. Like, I have to use Thunderbird, Bigfoot, I have to use Grapha, and then I have to abuse my extra deck to the maximum. Like, when I say the boards I've broken the most going second were because of Bigfoot, Thunderbird, Grapha, and also Trigate, I mean it. Like, I'm popping cards, I'm co-linking Cerberus and Phoenix, popping cards and drawing. Then I go into my Trigate play, I banish another card, I have the negation, I go into Binary, and I just OTK. I don't even make Broadsword. I just go Trigate Binary with the full board. Binary's gonna boost, the Trigate does double, I get life points gains. Like, it's just nuts. Like, this deck doesn't really need to play hand traps unless you run into a deck that tells you that you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! That's the reason why I side deck hand traps. But for Thunder Dragons, like, I can still play Yu-Gi-Oh! For Sky Strikers, I can still play Ultra Guys. Arguably, Rivalry is one of the cards. That's why you side deck Back Row Hate for that matchup. But honestly, there's really no deck outside of, like, maybe a Rongo that can stop you from playing because Gumblar doesn't hurt your deck. But yep, that's it for the monsters. And obviously, these last 9 dangers are ideal for going second. So it sucks when you miss with them going first. It really does suck. But when you're going second, it doesn't hurt to miss with these because you just get to deal with problems. And Dogman's effect does come up. It made it relevant because that's how I got over the Chaos Max. Dogman shrunk him by 1,000, reduced him to 3,000. Then I used Binary, and I ended up boosting my Trigate to, I think, 37, I believe. 37, and I just beat over the Chaos Max that way. So yeah, it helps. Dogman really does help going second, and arguably, I would say he's just the worst danger in general. Like, I don't really like Dogman that much, but he does help sometimes. Next up for the spells, we have 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, and yeah, this spell right here. Yeah, I would say that this spell's not fair, but also my counter argument is how many decks do you really see that can actually abuse this card, or in general just play it in a comfortable manner? Really, arguably, I would say like Burning Abyss and like Dangers. Like, Shaddolls can't do it. Like, there's not that many, like, in even Dark Warriors, like, maybe they could possibly do it, but they're banishing their Phantom Knights all the time, and they're banishing cards with Phoenix Blade, so, like, this is the deck that can use this card. Like, so, even though people complain about it, it's like, realistically, this card didn't see play in a competitive scene for a very long time until the Dangers came out, so I think it's worth it. It's like, think of how, like, Rogue decks get Card of Demise. Like, that card's degenerate, but it's like, there's not that many every deck can't use that card, and every deck can't use this card. That's why I don't really see Konami banning this, because they ban cards that are applicable in a lot of different archetypes and that are being abused in so many decks. I play 1 Gates because it's searchable off Snow. It boosts all my Nightmares to make my board stronger, and also allowing me to pick what I discard makes a difference. This card's just stupid. And this card's even worse. They're not fair. But honestly, when I resolve card destruction and soul charge, I always say it doesn't count. Like, I look at my opponent, and I even apologize. I'm like, if this doesn't get hand trapped, I'm sorry, bro, but this duel does not count. You might have more skill than me. I just had the one of. And then the traps, we play 1 Danger Zone and 1 Dark World Brainwashing. Brainwashing is the absolute inspiration for me playing this list. The only reason why I'm even playing Danger Dark Worlds right now, trying to be competitive with it, is because of this trap. I feel this trap is what makes my Danger Dark Worlds more competitive than just an average basic Danger deck, because I get more interactions on my opponent's turn than any Danger deck can get. It doesn't matter, like, Danger decks, everything that a Danger deck can do, I can already do that. I can Gumblar you, I can Extra Link you, I can OTK you, I can break your board, I can make boards. But one thing that Dangers can't get is infinite monster negation, and that's what the Dark Worlds do really well. They allow me to access this card. It's searchable. It's nothing's once per turn about the card. You're bouncing to the hand for cost, and there are literally games where I just Gumblar for 2 on my turn, Gumblar for 2 on my opponent's draw phase off of Danger Zone, and literally just finish the game with Dark World Brainwashing, like just negating their last cards. One game I just Gumblar, I was only able to Gumblar for 2, And then Brainwashing hit one of my 3 Silvas that I hadn't had. I had 3 Silvas and 1 gold. No matter what they discarded, they were going to neg. And Silva ripped 2 cards on my opponent's hand, and he just scooped. And I was playing against like an Infernoid going second deck. He just scooped. But yeah, like Brainwashing's nuts, you guys. It just infinitely negates monster effects by bouncing a Dark World. And as long as you play your deck right, you're only going to have Dark Worlds left in hand. But nothing hurts what they discard because your entire deck needs to be discarded. But this card is what makes my deck unique and what makes it more powerful than any average Danger deck. Yeah, and I mean just like a Danger, like this deck to me is pretty pure because it's just a discard deck. It's not like throwing Dangers in just any deck to make it better. It's like Dangers needed to be played with Dark Worlds in the first place because Dark Worlds needed cards that discard them because Dark Worlds do not work unless they're discarded. This is why you normally play Dillings and Drag Down and other cards like that, but what's better than Dillings and Drag Down if it's not the Danger monsters? So, yep. And the Danger Zone also comes up in the awkward scenarios where I didn't have enough Dark Worlds and my opponent discarded one of the ones that don't special themselves. Then I get a second chance with Danger Zone because I could just draw 3 and discard the right one that I wanted my opponent to discard in the first place. It gets special summon. Then I can try again with the Brainwashing. And also just in general, just discarding Grapha and Bigfoot and popping 2 cards is just really strong. So yeah, I like my traps. I only play 1 of each. If Brainwashing ever gets sniped by a Twin Twister or a Phoenix, you just reset it with Griffin. And then for extra deck is Gumblar and Griffin. All the Link 4s get made. All my Link 3s, these, I make these every first turn. I go through all of them. And I also play Trishbania for the back row decks. If I get to go first, I just Trishbania them and they lose. Especially decks that just can't play without their traps. Like the only way they can play is with traps. And when you take their traps away, they don't know what to do. Curios and Summon Sork. I normally use Curios to dump Grapha or load my grave for the beginning of the end. Summon Sork gets me access to Grapha. And if I already have Grapha, these both get you access to Grapha either way. But if I already have Grapha, what I do is I use Summon Sork to target any Fiend or Nightmare and special summon Silva. Then I bounce Silva to my hand because as long as I have Silva with my Brainwashing, there's a chance that I can rip all my opponent's cards out of their hand, which is good. So Summon Sork helps, Curios help. You make them both every turn, and Trigate gets made because I'm always making full Trigate boards. Like this was one of my easiest boards ever made. And when I say easy, I didn't even know I was going to do it, but it just happened that way. So we have it like this. And by the way, so like this, like if you turn it this way, this is what it was. Like this is where it was. And then right next to my Griffin, we have Binary. And then right next to Binary is the Phoenix. Now, I could have even extra linked with it, but like if I extra linked, my opponent would still have an open zone. But this was like one of the freeze boards I made. Like I ended up just gumblaring my opponent for 2. I had the Trigate set up. I didn't even end up going into Brainwashing because I wasn't able to search it out. And since I couldn't use Brainwashing, I decided to just go for this board. And I still won. Like, it's good, man. Like, this deck can make boards like that pretty much for free. Like, it's really easy. And it's like, I understand people are going to complain because Dangers are good, but, you know, I'm playing Dark Worlds, bro. Like, I'm just using the Dangers to make my Dark Worlds viable. Can you really say that, like, that's so horrible and shameful? For Link 2s, we have Underclock, Phoenix, Binary, Repo, Service, and then the Link 1 I play is Link Spider. Because I'm playing Tomahawk. Tomahawk just... Even if you have a bad hand, Tomahawk will guarantee a Summon Sorceress or Curios play, which all those fix your hands. Yep. Also, what I was realizing more and more is this deck can really extra link easily. If I just wanted to change my extra deck, like I don't have Unicorn, but like if I put a Unicorn in here, it'd be over, bro. It'd be over. And if you're curious how I out Thunder Dragons, this is even when I play against Thunder Dragons, like this is how I do it. I just make my Trigate board like I always do. And I normally go for this. I go for this cute little board right here. And I try to keep it sweet and short and just cute. I normally go for this. And, oh, sorry, it's the other way around. And I also make sure that I can keep my my Binary somewhere there. Because this is what ends up happening. So, you end up basically using Trigate to target a Colossus and banish it. You then can also... This board also can't be Titan, so Titan can't interact with it. You then use the Binary to boost the Trigate. And what happens is you take one of your monsters, you half it, and then you give him the surplus. But you also use Underclock Taker to target Trigate. So if you want to out a Titan and a Colossus, what you do is you banish the Colossus, then you use Underclock, target Trigate, and then the Titan. and the Titan gets reduced by 22, so he's at 12. Then you can use binary to boost the Trigate even more for the damage output, and then you just ram them over, and then they're left with like one Colossus. You can still interact with their plays, and it's really good, man. Like that's how I out Thunder Dragons. And I can only take care of one Colossus and one Titan, so the other Colossus always gets left there, but it's not gonna do anything. If they're gonna turn it into something, they'll turn it into Colossus, but the Colossus can't out the board. If they make Warlord, you can still negate his effect of take because that effect can be negated. And then the last of the extra deck are just these XYZs. This is for interactions. This is just making bad hands playable. And then Giant Trainer is how I win in time because my turns are really long. I'm revealing dangers and shuffling my hand. It's like by default. It's not on purpose. Like turns are just going to be long when you're playing dangers because you reveal them, your opponent's rolling dice and picking them. Then you're special them, you're drawing. You just do a lot. It's nothing like this deck doesn't slow play on purpose. Like it just, the turns are long. So we need a way to win in time, and that's what Giant Trainer does. And he happens to draw 3 cards. My side deck, I side 3 Epsilons. I really like Epsilon a lot. I don't know why people aren't playing this card, but it's the gamma for traps. You negate a trap and special him and driver, and then you make Scrap Dragon. I'm sorry, not Scrap Dragon. Then you make Nightmare Phoenix. And Nightmare Phoenix discards a danger. So what ends up happening is you negate the activation of a trap, then you link this into Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix discards a danger, and you potentially get the chance to out 3 cards, which is really nice. But in other decks that I play, because I play Epsilon in a lot of my decks, in other decks that I play, I use Epsilon to go into Scrap Dragon. But for this list in particular, I use them to go into into Nightmare Phoenix. Or also, it's an extender, because not only does it negate a trap, but it puts up 2 monsters on the board, which makes a difference, because those 2 monsters can be the Reapaducus before you even commit any further, and then Reaper just instantly goes to Summon Sork, and you could just make more combos. So it's an extender and a negation, and it's a good card a lot. Like, I just really enjoy this against trap decks. And then we have 3 copies of Gamma, the 1 driver. I love the side frames, man. Like, they're so good. I play side frames in real life, like the actual deck. It's a great deck, you guys. And then we have 3 copies of Impermanence. No Ash Blossoms, because they're gone. Sold them. But I like these hand traps because they can't be called by. And your opponent's more prone to have a call by than a mid-breaker field, because Geists, Strikers, and Thunder Dragons do not play mid-breaker. Only Dark Warriors do. So these are more prone to resolve than like other hand traps that can be called by. Then we have 3 Evenlies and 2 Twins. Mostly, this is just for back row decks. Even though Red Reboot is good and I like it and I understand the concept to it, I don't really play against, like, I haven't played against a deck that just, like, sets 5 and can still beat me. Because the only way a set 5 pass deck can beat me is if they flip, like, a Rivalry. And when they flip the Rivalry, this is why we have cards like the Cypher Gear Epsilon to interact with that. And if they flip Rivalry when I'm in mid-combo and I'm locked to one specific monster, basically I just keep Fiend. And the reason why I keep Fiend is because I can still go into my Nightmares and I can still keep on my Dark Worlds. So it's not the end of the world if they flip Rivalry. You can still out it because you'll keep your Dark Worlds and you go into Phoenix, and yeah, you can still make your plays happen. So yep, that's the side deck, that's the extra deck, that's the entire deck profile. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, definitely leave your honest opinion and feedback in the comment section below. Also keep in mind that this is my deck and I play it the way I want. So if there's something you disagree with, I'll hear you out and I understand why you might disagree with it. But at the same time, it's my deck and I can play it however I want. And you can't really hate me for playing my cardboard, right? So God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Have a beautiful day. Stay positive. Don't join a gang. Peace.